A casual glance at my husband's phone screen revealed an entire conspiracy. His relatives were planning a brazen takeover of my territory, confident in their success. The main thing was to move in while I was at work, and then, supposedly, I would not be able to kick them out. They were already standing at their front door with suitcases, anticipating a housewarming, and they did not even suspect that the owner of the apartment had already made the first move. "Babe, send me $20 for lunch, or maybe 30. Better make it 30. The guys wanted to hit the bar after the shift. It looks bad if I show up empty-handed." Marcus's voice drifted out from the bathroom, drowning out the sound of the shower. He was not asking. He was stating a fact with that lazy, entitled intonation that had been making my left eye twitch lately. I stood in the kitchen, staring blankly at the coffee pot where the foam was rising. The coffee was about to boil over, just like my patience, but my patience was leaving me slower, seeping into the drain drop by drop along with the remnants of yesterday. "Marcus, didn't you just get your advance on Monday?" I shouted, taking the pot off the burner. Now I would have to scrub the stove. "They delayed it again," my husband replied cheerfully. "I told you, accounting messed something up, the system is down, the boss is having a fit. Anyway, send it, and I will pay you back from the stash, with interest." He chuckled, and that little laugh, echoing hollowly off the bathroom tiles, sounded like styrofoam screeching against glass. I sighed. With interest meant I would never see that money. Just like I never saw the $500 for the car repair, a car registered to his mama that was still sitting in a garage in Gary, and the $300 that went to a gift for a colleague. I reached for the phone automatically. It was the conditioned reflex of a convenient wife who always had a stash, a credit card, and a conscience. But the smartphone lying on the table was not mine. Marcus, in his habit of scattering things wherever he walked, had tossed his gadget right into the breadbasket. The screen lit up, vibrating against the wooden board. I glanced sideways. Not because I was jealous. Jealousy requires energy, and I only had enough strength to crawl to the office and back. It was just that the notification was too bright. Transaction, $150, Amtrak, balance $4. I froze. The pot in my hand swayed. A drop of hot coffee burned my finger, but I did not feel the pain. $150. Amtrak. "Marcus," I called out, trying to keep my voice steady. "Are you going somewhere?" The water stopped running. "What?" A towel slapped against the floor. "No, what do you mean? That was me. That was just me paying Dre back. He asked me to get tickets for him. His card is blocked. He will give me cash later." The lie was so lazy, stitched together with such white thread, that I wanted to applaud. So there was no money for lunch, the system was down, but $150 for tickets for some mysterious Dre was found on the card he had declared empty 5 minutes ago. I set the cup down. Inside, somewhere around my solar plexus, a cold vortex began to spin. I knew this symptom. It was not fear, it was not resentment. It was the calculator turning on. Marcus's phone came to life again. A short vibration, the green icon of a messenger app. The message displayed fully, thanks to the fact that this idiot never hid his notification text. Sender, Mama Joyce. I leaned in. The letters danced, forming a sentence. "The main thing is to get in while she's at work, and then she won't kick us out. Tasha and Shanice are packed. The train arrives at 7:30. Pick us up." The kitchen became very quiet. I could hear the refrigerator humming, the one I bought on credit 2 years ago, and the clock ticking, a housewarming gift from my father. My brain, trained by years of working in logistics, worked faster than my emotions could kick in. I instantly built the chain. Mama Joyce, my mother-in-law. A woman like a tank who believed her opinion was the only constitution valid on United States soil. Tasha and Shanice, 2 sisters-in-law, 30 and 28 years old, respectively, both finding themselves, both with the appetites of a platoon of soldiers, the grace of hippos in a china shop. They were coming here, and not for a visit. The phrase, "she won't kick us out," left no room for interpretation. This was a special operation, a hostile takeover. I looked around my kitchen. The beige cabinets I saved up for 6 months to buy. The countertop made of artificial stone that I polished on Sundays. All of this was mine. The mortgage was taken out in my name 3 years before the marriage. Marcus was here with the status of a freeloader with privileges, but apparently, after 2 years of marriage, he decided that the marriage certificate gave him the right to sublet and organize a hostel. The bathroom door flew open. Marcus floated out in a cloud of steam, wrapped in a towel around his hips. He smelled of my expensive mango body scrub, $40 a jar by the way, and shone like a polished penny. "So, babe, you gonna send that cash? The guys are waiting for an answer." I looked at him, and I did not see a husband. I saw a liability, an asset that was rapidly depreciating and had now turned into toxic inventory. Standing before me was a man who planned to drag 3 loud, brazen women into my 1,200-square-foot apartment, where the second bedroom was barely a den. To do what? Live like a commune? Sleep on the floor? A memory from a year ago surfaced. Mama Joyce's first visit. "Keisha, baby, who puts up wallpaper like this? It's like a coffin, not a room. You need something cheerful here, with flowers, and take down these drapes. It's like a crypt." Back then, I politely stayed silent. Marcus nodded along with his mama. "Yeah, Keisha, it is a little gloomy." Now they were coming to repaper the walls and reshape my life. "Marcus," I smiled. The smile came out crooked, but my husband did not notice, busy drying his ears with my face towel. "Of course, I will send it. Let me just check my payroll account. Something is wrong with the app." "Oh, come on, you are the best." He pecked me on the cheek, leaving a wet mark. "Keisha, I'm gonna be late today. You know, football, I'll be back late." Football, Union Station. The train from Gary arrives at 7:30. "Great," I nodded, turning to the window so he would not see my eyes. In them, right now, pure, distilled rage was splashing. "I will be late too. We have the annual report. The boss is going beast mode. I might even sleep at the office if we don't finish." Marcus froze for a second, pulling on a sock. "At the office?" A spark of joy flashed in his voice. "Like, for the whole night?" "Well, yeah. Or I will crawl in toward morning. Don't wait up. Go to bed, my poor hard-working baby." He almost sang his reply. His mood soared to the heavens. Of course, the landing zone was clear. The owner had removed herself. He could bring in the troops without a fight, arrange the suitcases, stuff the fridge with whatever they brought, and when I returned, present me with the fact. "Mama is here. You wouldn't kick Mama out on the street, would you?" He was already celebrating victory. He was already mentally drinking beer with Mama's fried chicken. I exhaled slowly. The feeling of being a victim vanished. Only cold calculation remained. I would not make a scene right now. A scene is emotions. Yelling is weakness. If I threw the coffee pot at him now and screamed about the text message, he would start making excuses, pressing on pity, lying about his mama being sick or staying for just a couple of days. He would drag me into a sticky swamp of negotiations where he was a master of manipulation, and I was a woman who felt sorry for her family. There are no negotiations with terrorists. I looked at the clock. 20 minutes until departure. In that time, I had to get ready without giving away the plan with a single muscle. "I'm jumping in the shower," I threw out, walking past him. In the bathroom, I turned on the cold water, washed my face, and looked in the mirror. An ordinary face, tired eyes, a bit of mascara ran. "You are a fool, Keisha," I told my reflection. "You spent 2 years feeding a parasite who has now decided to eat you whole." But there were no tears. The place for tears was taken by greed, healthy, angry greed of an owner. For what reason? For what reason should I tolerate strangers in a house I pay $2,000 a month for, denying myself a vacation? Why should I listen to Tasha's snoring and Mama Joyce's advice? Why should I, the owner, feel like a guest? "Hell no," I said quietly. "Not a penny to the enemy." I stepped out of the bathroom, already dressed. Sharp suit, usual hair. Marcus was in the kitchen finishing a sandwich with the last of the turkey. "Listen," he chewed, dropping crumbs on the floor. "If you are going to be late, maybe I should call Mama? Have her come tidy up, cook dinner? So you don't get tired." Testing the waters, preparing an alibi. I wanted to do something nice, a surprise. "Don't," I cut him off, fastening my bag. "I will handle it myself. And anyway, the place is a mess. I would be ashamed to invite Mama. Don't you dare." I deliberately forbade it, knowing his nature. Marcus loved to do things out of spite, especially if it was presented as Mama knows best. Now he would definitely bring them, confident that he was performing an act of filial heroism and male independence. Okay, he raised his hands, surrendering. Devils danced in his eyes. "Gotta run, I'm late. Did you send the money?" "Sending it now." I opened the banking app. But instead of transferring to my husband, I quickly transferred all funds from the savings account, where a part of my salary and his pathetic crumbs went, to my secret account at another bank. The card linked to my husband's phone was a duplicate of my main one. I could change the limit on it in one click. Transaction limit, $1. Done. "Internet is lagging," I lied, looking into my husband's honest eyes. "I will get to work, use the Wi-Fi and send it. Can you wait an hour?" "Oh, come on, babe," he whined petulantly. "I'm gonna starve." "You'll lose weight, it's good for you. Come on, we have to go." We walked out of the building together. The morning was gray, typically Chicago, smelling of wet asphalt and exhaust fumes. Miss Etta from the first floor was smoking by the entrance, the eternal guardian of the courtyard, knowing the tenant's schedule better than the precinct captain. "Good morning, Miss Etta," Marcus greeted radiantly. He generally loved to play the role of the ideal neighbor for the public. "Hello, Marcus. Hello, Keisha baby," the neighbor creaked, sweeping them with a keen gaze. "Off to honest labor?" "Yup, earning our bread and butter," Marcus winked. I stayed silent. I looked at the windows of my apartment on the third floor. Dark windows, still my fortress. In 12 hours, if I did nothing, the lights would turn on, pots would rattle, and the space would fill with the smell of cheap perfume and the fumes of their invasion. I almost physically felt dirty suitcases scratching my hardwood floors. "All right, I'm running to the train." Marcus pecked the air near me, trying not to mess up his own style. "Waiting for the transfer. Love you." He marched briskly toward the station, with the bouncy walk of a man convinced that life had finally worked out. In his pocket lay the phone where Mama, Tasha, and Shanice were already sending kissy face stickers and discussing the dinner menu. I stood for a minute, watching his back. My gaze became heavy, like a cast-iron skillet. Love. Love ended exactly at the moment I saw that text message. Love is when you are cherished, but when you are considered a resource to be milked, that is livestock farming. And I did not plan on being a cow for slaughter. I turned sharply on my heels. The train was to the left. I went to the right. 2 blocks away there was a 24-hour coffee shop with big tables and good internet. I didn't need to go to the office. I needed a headquarters. I needed to draft a plan. On the way, I took out my phone and dialed a number I hadn't used in a year. "Hello, Trina. Hey, it's Keisha. Listen, you said you have a database of problem clients that nobody will rent to?" "Yeah, I need it urgently. No, not to kill anyone. Not yet. I need a crew, the toughest ones. Preferably out-of-towners. Yes, right today. I pay double commission if you find them before lunch." I entered the coffee shop and ordered a double espresso with no sugar. The taste of bitterness was necessary right now to keep my tone sharp. I opened my notebook. On the first page, I wrote in large letters, Operation Extermination. 1. Cut off funding. Done. 2. Secure legal cover. 3. Prepare the trap. 4. Watch them burn. I took a sip of coffee. Many women in my situation would start crying, calling their mom, or throwing a tantrum and breaking dishes. But I was an accountant by calling and a pragmatist by life. Crying is not cost-effective. Seeking revenge at a loss to oneself is stupid. I needed to make sure Marcus didn't just leave. I needed him to leave while leaving me moral compensation, paid cleaning, and a sense of deep, all-encompassing satisfaction. After all, he wanted to bring a family into the house himself. I would simply help him realize his dream of a big, loud company. Just, the company would be a little different. The phone chimed. It was Trina, the realtor. Quiche, I got an option. A crew of ironworkers from Detroit. 4 guys working on a high-rise downtown. Faces so hard you could hammer nails with them. Everyone turns them down. They're scared of them. They have money, but they look scary. Take 'em? I smiled. For the first time all morning, this smile was sincere. Ironworkers from Detroit versus Mama Joyce and her daughters. This would be a clash of titans. I'll take them, I typed quickly. Tell them to bring the truck. I closed my eyes for a second, imagining Marcus's face at the closed door. The day was just beginning, and this day promised to be very, very productive. I wasn't going to give up a single inch of my territory. War was declared, and I intended to win it by a landslide. More coffee? The waiter asked, passing by. Yes, I nodded. And the most expensive dessert. I am celebrating the start of a new life today. I leaned back in the chair, watching through the window as the city woke up, rushed, bustled. Somewhere out there in the bowels of the metropolis, Marcus was riding to work, dreaming of a free ride. Somewhere out there, the wheels of the Amtrak were clattering, carrying the invaders. And here, at a table in the corner, sat a small, fragile woman drawing a map of the minefield they would all blow up on today. I picked up the pen and underlined the item in the notebook. Move things out by 2 p.m. Time was short, but motivation was overflowing. Trina, the realtor, flew into the coffee shop like a hurricane in a designer trench coat, the click of heels, a cloud of heavy, expensive perfume, and an eternally vibrating iPhone in a hand, manicured to the state of a cold weapon. She flopped onto the chair opposite me, not even taking off her dark glasses, although intimate twilight reigned in the room. Girl, you are scaring me, she blurted out instead of a hello. A call at 9 a.m. with the text, rent my crib by lunch. This is usually the beginning of a crime story. Did you off somebody? If yes, I have guys who remove carpets. But that's a separate price. I didn't smile. I slowly stirred the long cold foam with a spoon. Inside me right now, it wasn't the emotional center working, but a cold business plan charted in Excel. Nobody yet, I answered calmly. But the situation, Trina, is close to an emergency. I need a human shield. A shield? Trina slid her glasses down her nose, revealing professionally cynical eyes. Okay, let's stick to facts. Your 2-bedroom near the Loop. Renovated, appliances, train nearby. Market price is $2,000 plus utilities. If quick, $1,800. But you asked for problem tenants. Why do you want a headache for your own money? I don't need hipsters with pugs or college girls. I took an envelope with copies of the apartment documents out of my purse. I need people who are feared, understand? I need a crew, the exact one you were whining about last week, the ones nobody rents to because they look like characters from The Wire, only on steroids. Trina whistled. The Detroit crew. Big Mike and his team. Keisha, are you out of your mind? These are tough men. They work on skyscraper assembly. They come home, eat half a hog, sleep and leave again. They smell of welding and grease. Neighbors cross themselves when they get in the elevator. Perfect, I nodded. Can they pay? More than enough. Cash is burning a hole in their pockets. They just have nowhere to live, because landlords want decent-looking folks with harmless habits. And these guys have mugs you could crack walnuts on. But they are clean, by the way. Big Mike has a thing about military order. Call them, I dropped shortly. Quiche, are you sure? Trina hesitated. What happened? Marcus. The husband's name sounded like a diagnosis of an unpleasant but curable disease. Marcus decided to open a branch of the Gary shelter on my territory. Tonight a squad is moving in. I need the apartment to smell of male sweat, boot polish, and absolute authority by 7 p.m., so that no mother-in-law in the world would have the desire to step over that threshold. Trina was silent for a second, digesting the information. Then her lips stretched into a predatory grin. She loved stories like this. Payment up front for 2 months plus deposit. You take the commission from them. I dictated the terms. I hand over keys at 3 o'clock. Furniture and appliances stay in the apartment. My personal things I will move out now. The ex-husband's things, let's say, will be prepared for transport. Trina was already dialing. Hello, Mr. Michaels? Yeah, Trina calling. Rejoice, fellas, I found you an option. Royal Palace, landlady is gold, but there is a nuance. No, don't get scared, no dead bodies. Just need to move in today, right now. Yes, get the money ready. I finished the cold coffee in one gulp. The first point of the plan was executed. The flywheel was launched. Now I had to manage to clear the territory before that flywheel crushed my own sentimentality. The apartment met me with silence and the smell of dust. Strange, I hadn't noticed this smell before, but now, looking at the hallway through the eyes of a stranger, I saw everything. Marcus's dirty sneakers lying in the middle of the mat, his jacket thrown on the ottoman, and a layer of dust on the mirror he promised to wipe a week ago. I didn't bother changing into home clothes. I took off my blazer, rolled up the sleeves of my blouse, and took a roll of black, heavy-duty trash bags from the pantry. 30-gallon ones. Thick, reliable, exactly what was needed to store the illusions of family life. I started with the bedroom, acting methodically, without hysterics. Opened his side of the closet. Shirts, jeans, sweaters, everything flew into the bag in a single lump. I didn't fold things neatly. Why? Marcus never appreciated my neatness. He called it nagging. Well, now he would learn what true chaos was. Gamepad from the console? Into the bag. Collection of beer mugs he proudly displayed on the shelf, gathering dust? Into the bag. One mug with the inscription, Best Husband, accidentally slipped from my hands and shattered into pieces. I didn't even wince. The broom swept the glass into the same plastic coffin. In the process of packing, I stumbled upon an old shoebox shoved into the deepest part of the closet shelf behind the winter comforters. Marcus called this place the Black Hole, and I almost never looked in there. I pulled the box toward me, heavy. Inside lay some wires, old chargers, a broken hard drive, and a thick bundle wrapped in blue electrical tape. I frowned, my heart skipped a beat. Drugs? Weapons? Lord, who was I living with? I picked at the edge of the tape with a fingernail, yanked it. From the bundle poured $100 bills, green, crisp, smelling of mint and deception. I sat right on the floor among scattered socks and t-shirts and counted. $3,000. Blood pulsed in my head. Babe, send me 20 for lunch. We don't have enough for a vacation. Let's stay at Mama's this year. My car broke down. Need repairs. Transfer 500. Paycheck got delayed. All this time, all this damn time, while I skimped on makeup, while I took overtime, while I scraped money together for quality groceries, this man was stockpiling cash in a box from winter boots. Rat-holing, stealing from the family budget, creating his own personal wealth fund while simultaneously draining my accounts. The last drops of pity, if they remained somewhere at the bottom of my soul, evaporated instantly like rubbing alcohol on a hot skillet. This wasn't just money. These were my stolen hours of life, my purchases that never happened, my nerves.